Okay, it's going a little faster this time.
Right.
And Jen is on. Hi, Jen.
There you go. You should get it now.
We're on.
Perfect.
Okay, we are live.
Hi,
We are
everybody.
live. So let me get the screen up here. Give me a second. Oh, Debbie, can you enable host sharing, please, or screen sharing?
Remind me.
Or you can make me a host, either way.
How do I make you host?
If you go to their picture, usually in the top right corner, it'll give you a drop-down menu.
Yeah, if you click on participants and click more, you should see make host, and you can make me the host.
Am I the only one wearing green today?
I have kind of green on.
I have green eyes.
I have green eyes.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, couch.
For being patient while we get everything set up. We're very grateful that you're here.
Hi, Christina.
Hi. Good to see you.
I didn't have internet, so that's why I'm late. I've been on phone with Comcast.
It's all good. We're glad you're here.
Okay, Benjamin, you should have control.
Okay. All right, let's do this. How's all of a sudden I can't show? There we go. All right. Welcome everyone to our March Loving Them Forward meeting. Resources for family caregivers and seniors. I'm Benjamin, Kelch Communities, eager to be here. Today's a town hall meeting for caregivers. So I'm really excited because we're going to get to hear from people doing this day in and day out what they need. So that's very exciting. Here's our agenda for today, just to give you a picture of where we're going. We will be mostly spending the bulk of the meeting talking with caregivers who will be sharing their own stories. We will have a couple community leaders also delivering some messages to caregivers, listening in on what caregivers need. And that's the main plan for today. So Christina, you want to take it away with the board members today?
We'll let Miss Debbie go over that.
All right, Debbie.
Yeah, I'll do that. So Christina Keys, she's our president and co-founder of Loving Them Forward. And not only does she have 1,000 hats to wear, she has multiple jobs. And we just thank her for her participation in starting this wonderful group. I'm Debbie Fries. I'm the marketing chairperson. I work with Home Instead Senior Care. I'm the home care consultant there. Debbie Russell, she's our treasurer and another co-founder, and she has a real estate business. Linda Melton is our vice president. She is recently retired and devoting her time to this nonprofit group. Michael Harding is our veterans liaison. He's another chairperson and in realty also. I'm Debbie Fries. Hearing some feedback.
I'm older, I would feel that I'm more confident because I've done enough things.
Debbie, you can unmute yourself. I just muted everybody.
Okay. So did we get through that slide okay?
I think so.
Okay, go to the advisory council, please. So Dick Halverson is one of our newest members to the advisory council. Those of you who know Dick, he's retired also, but he's not tired. He just keeps on going and volunteers his time to groups like this. And he was actually a winner for Senior Heroes Awards last year. Laura Gazarian, she is also a co-founder. She works as a marketing director for 2 Men and a Truck, and I just used their services a couple days ago to move into my new house. So such a great resource, and they're a good member of ours. And then Joy Yurchek, he is the administrator, GM for Elfin Services Caregiving, and we just value all of their input on our board and advisory council.
All right. Pardon, I do not have the agenda in front of me because I can only have one screen. So whoever is on next, let's read the Loving Them Forward mission statement.
That is me, Michael Harding, and good afternoon, everyone. So who is Loving Them Forward? Loving Them Forward is a community of people that have been taking care of family members and seniors through life's transitions personally and professionally. We are committed to improving the well-being of caregivers in our community by providing free support, education, and resources while they care for citizens and loved ones. Family, caregivers, and seniors do not have to do it all alone. That is our mission statement.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much. Christina, can you start us off by asking and putting into context the 3 questions we'll be dealing with today?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. First of all, for everybody who's attending today, the reason why we wanted to do a caregivers town hall is because we're very blessed in Clark County to have a lot of resources and support for caregivers, not only Loving Them Forward, but folks like Hope and all the different Hope Dementia Support Group and area aging. There's a lot in this area, but there are certain things that caregivers need that we don't always know. Sometimes as business owners and organizations, we assume that we know what caregivers need. Even myself, who's been a caregiver for my mother for 10 years, I'm still her caregiver. I'm also a caregiver for a friend of mine as well. Even in those 2 situations, and as the founder, one of the founders and the president of Loving Them Forward, I don't know what all the caregivers' needs are. So what we wanted to do is give the caregivers a voice, because for every caregiver, there's different needs and different situations. So today, what we want to do is we want to take a minute to hear straight from the caregivers. We want to hear what resources you would need to help you and the seniors and loved ones with special needs that you care for. What are you struggling with on your care journey? How could you feel better supported by your community? We just want you to share it all, because not only do we want you to have a voice, but we want to make sure the community leaders, the businesses and organizations all are here to hear you and take in that feedback, and hopefully over time implement resources and things that could help you in your journey. So we're very grateful that you're here. When you're sharing today, you want to share as a caregiver, you can share by raising your hand in the chat in the Zoom, or if you don't know how to do that, you can just raise your hand. Benjamin will call on you. You can also put a question in the chat. We've got Joey who's going to be looking over that. So we are very grateful for the caregivers today. Thank you for coming on, and just know that your voice is valuable, and we see you and we hear you, appreciate you.
Thank you, Christina. So, and just to clarify, we have 2 different chats going on. We've got the Facebook chat. If you're attending my Facebook Live, you can write your comments in there. And Joey, I believe you're monitoring the Facebook chat as well as the Zoom chat, if I'm not mistaken. And so Joey will be interrupting me to let me know when there are comments that will help us understand what's going on. So let's see here. All right. Let's go ahead and end screen share, and let's get started. Let's start with our first question. Now, of course, we can bounce around between them, but what resources do you need to help you and the seniors and loved ones in your life, especially those with special needs? What resources do you need to be able to care for them? Do I have anybody here who might have something to share about that? Carol, please go ahead and unmute yourself, Carol, and we'd love to hear from you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am a independent provider for my disabled daughter that has cerebral palsy, blind, seizures, trach, and a feeding tube. And what I like as a resource is an ID card to prove that I am a caregiver, and ID cards for other members that are caregivers, so that if I ever have an emergency, I would know that this person was a caregiver.
It's really helpful.
I checked with a couple companies and talked to them to see what they do. And there are agencies out there that do ID cards. But when we did our Christmas bag giveaway, we had no way of knowing if someone was a caregiver or not. And I want it to be special for the caregivers, not for anybody that hears the information.
Yes, yes. Wow, that's great. Anyone else? What are some resources that you're finding you personally need? Go ahead, Nicole. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, Nicole. I caregive for my mom. She was, in our specific situation, she qualifies because of her husband for VA benefits, where will be compensated to bring caregivers into the home so that I'm not fully responsible and I can be her daughter and advocate for her. But it's a daunting process sometimes going through these things, especially filling out the forms and where do they go. And it can be very, very overwhelming, especially when you're in the midst of taking care of her. Like, that's my first priority, but I find that struggle as well. And I think for me, also being seen as a caregiver, you know, she's first and foremost my priority, but this can get really heavy. And I think sometimes, like, one thing I came up against with the COVID vaccines, I've been on quarantine with my mom since lockdown, and I, for fear of bringing something home to her. And because of my age, I'm not eligible, but they didn't really plan for family caregivers in there. So I carry the risk of bringing something home to my mom if I go out. Not that I'm going to go out to a bar or anything, but going to the stores and doing the things that we do daily to take care of our families. So I think really being seen and acknowledged by the community is a huge one for me. The mental health and emotional toll that it takes as a caregiver, you know, some of those things, I really think being seen, I really feel like we're a invisible force and there's so many of us. I'm grateful for this organization. I met Christina when I first brought my mom up from California to take care of her. And you guys have been an immense help to me. Christina's been a rock for me. So I'm super grateful. What you guys are doing is very, very important to us. So I want to tell each and every one of you, thank you for your time and your commitment. I see you. So thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. It sounds like both you and Carol had similar requests, right? A need just to be seen and to be acknowledged, because there's things that happen once a community recognizes that you're in a distinct phase of life with specific needs. Who else is a caregiver on this call or has been? Linda, we'd love to hear from you.
Resources that I use extensively is the Caring Closet. They offer durable medical equipment. They have whole walls and walls full of incontinence supplies, and it's free to anyone. It's in Salmon Creek. They're open 3 days a week, and it's just a wonderful resource. We really appreciate them.
Real quick, where in Salmon Creek are they? I thought they were downtown, so tell me where they are now.
Well, they moved to Salmon Creek. It's northwest of the freeway off of the 139th Street exit.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you, Linda.
Jody's on the call, actually one of the co-founders of A Caring Closet. Jody, do you want to type in your address in the chat box?
She just did.
Oh, good.
She's way ahead. Look
Ahead
at
of me.
So who else on this call or on Facebook has been a caregiver in the past or is one now and might have some things to share with us about what resources are needed when you're doing this important work?
Looks like Ralph has something to say.
Where is Ralph? I'm sorry.
He is muted at the moment.
Okay. Ralph, we'd love to hear from you. Where is Ralph? Is Ralph on Zoom or on Facebook? Oh, there he is. Okay, I see him. Go ahead, Ralph. You can unmute yourself. We'd love to hear from you. There you are.
Now you see me or
Now
hear
we
me?
gotcha.
Okay. I've been struggling with the gentleman I've been taking care of for 2 years, 4 months. Now they have in-house hospice there. He's very violent. He attacked the nurse last Monday, and the person that his social worker I always ask him, what else can I do? And he has no idea. And he's been a social worker for 25 years. I mean, he is very mean. He won't, take medicines at all, won't hardly eat. It's just a horrible situation. And for me to find someone that would just go over there and deliver food to him once in a while, give me a day off, or more than a day off, because I've been doing it forever for 7 days a week. But his brother takes food over on Saturday, but he won't even open the door for his brother. So just a bad situation. And need for me would be some other kind of resources to different kind of help for him, I guess,
Absolutely. Absolutely. So
Because
what
the
I'm
mask thing, every time he sees the mask on someone that comes in the house, he thinks he's going to the hospital. But he's not there. I mean, he's not really there at all. I mean, it's just a sad, like in the last 3 weeks, they already said they have no idea why he's still alive. His vitals are like, his heart rate was at 50. His oxygen's at 68. He's just hanging on. It's very hard.
Yeah. Yeah. So what I'm hearing you say is as a caregiver, you need a break.
Yep.
Right. Number two, you need more resources in how to care for someone with challenging behaviors.
That's really challenging behaviors. Because the caseworker Monday, after he attacked me and the nurse, he told me, just give him a break for a while, go check on him in 2 days. And I was like, really? I still need to take food to him. He goes, he has plenty of food in the house. And the food that I took him Monday is still sitting on his coffee table right in front of where he lays all day long. But he doesn't want to eat. He doesn't want to,
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's rough. Man, thank you, Ralph, for sharing what you're experiencing right there. So we're gonna move on to the next two questions in a second, but we do have Linda Glover here, and I know, Linda, I think you have a meeting at 2, so we want to make sure you get a time to share some messages from the mayor's office. Do you mind just introducing yourself to everyone and sharing what you had to share today?
Yeah. Okay, am I muted? I'm not muted. Good. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for having me here today. I'm representing Mayor Ann McInerney Ogle. She was not able to attend. So we both say to you, good afternoon, and thank you for having us here. It's an honor and a privilege to join you for this very special Caregivers Town Hall. I would like to thank Christina Keys and Loving Them Forward for the invitation to participate. The City of Vancouver is grateful for LFTF's presence in our community, and I appreciate the unique mission to improve the well-being of caregivers in our community, caring for the caregiver. I love that. I want to commend all of you for your devotion to this profession and your individual commitments to the health and wellness of each client, past, present, and future. You're a rare group of individuals with a unique calling. You are so much more than caregivers. You're often counselors, advocates, allies, encouragers, and friends. On the surface, a caregiver is simply a family member or paid employee who regularly looks after a child, sick family member, elderly, or disabled. But caregivers are so much more than that. Not only are each of you an important part of the healthcare system, especially for patients who are in long-term or hospice care, but day in and day out, you commit your lives to care for someone else's needs. Even though we understand the pledge caregivers make to provide the best for their patients and their families, you're often overlooked and underappreciated, which is why I'm so honored to be here today. Please know that each of you are appreciated, that the work that you are doing is not invisible, and it does not go unnoticed. Our community is a better place for the work that you do, for your individual commitments to health and healing, and your unbending faith in human potential. Thank you all so much. I hope that you hear these words often, so I will say them just one more time. Thank you. I know that each of you have many important responsibilities throughout the course of a day. Your role can be overwhelming between the physical things you have to do, the patient advocacy, and the stress of it all. Please remember that your most important overall responsibility is taking care of yourself. That may sound contradictory, but a caregiver must practice self-care in order to accomplish all the roles in a day or a week or a lifetime. Sidelining your own mental and physical needs is not an option because it leaves you unable to provide the level of care that your patients and loved ones might need. Embrace your own needs. Ask for help. Reach out to a friend. Laugh. Take good care of yourself. Eat well, sleep well, exercise, go outside, breathe deeply. Seek and engage the resources that are available to you through Loving Them Forward, for instance. We are all familiar with the oxygen mask instructions when traveling on an airplane, right? Should the cabin lose pressure, oxygen mask will drop from the overhead area. Please place the mask over your mouth and nose before assisting others. There is a good reason for that instruction, and it can be applied in all areas of our life, especially each of you. I hope that you will sign off today with a renewed energy and sense of purpose. This work, it is not easy, but it is good, and it is necessary. And I will say it again, it is appreciated. Thank you all so much for your compassion and grace for serving our community in such a unique way. I'll leave you with a quote from Rosalind Carter that you might appreciate. She once said, "There are only 4 kinds of people in the world: those who have been caregivers, those who are currently caregivers, those who will be caregivers, and those who need a caregiver." Once more, thank you for inviting me. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I wish you all well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Linda, for being here today. I know you have to head out to a meeting, but the rest of the meeting will be on Facebook Live recorded, and so you'll be able to hear the rest of the comments to share with the mayor later. And
They've been
please give
very
our
hard.
regards to
The
the
ones
mayor.
I've heard so far have been very heart touching. So yes,
Yeah.
I will. Thank you.
Thank you again so much. Well, let's look at our second question. And some of you have already touched on this a bit, but maybe you can go a little bit deeper in this. What are you struggling with on your care journey? What are you struggling with on your care journey? Because that informs everything that Loving Them Forward is about. Who would like to go first? Carol, please unmute yourself, and we'd love to hear from you.
Hi, I'm sorry. I'm going to comment on every question.
That's great.
But the biggest thing I want to talk about is the medical requiring the 80 hours a month. But if my daughter's sick, my caregiver cannot come into the house, of course. Or if she's sick, I don't want her in the house. And the thing of it is when there's an 80 limit, if she doesn't make it, then she doesn't get her medical. And the thing of it is I'm glad that she gets the medical and the dental and the vision, but I can't get it myself because I have military insurance. And if you give up your military, you give up everything. And that's a big thing for me to give up. So consequently, I get my medical fine, no co-pays or anything, but the dental and vision I pay for. I would love for the medical, the vision, and the dental for people like me to be able to get one of those or 2 of those or all 3 if I want. If we have another insurance that's not that Kaiser is bad, but is equal or better than Kaiser.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I mean? Because I get 100% medical for me and Renee,
Mm-hmm.
but the dental and the vision I have to pay monthly for.
Wow. For
And
yourself, but not for her. Is that correct?
well, I pay for her too.
Oh, wow.
Well, she
Okay.
gets her Medicare, but
Okay.
her dental bill every year is 12 grand
Wow.
because they put her to sleep and they clean her teeth thoroughly. And if I didn't have the dental insurance, that would be out of pocket.
Yeah.
But since I also pay over $150 a month for dental.
Wow.
To cover her, that surgery and mine.
Wow.
And the same with vision. I pay for that, but Renee's blind, so I don't have to worry about her on that one.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just saying for us parents and other people that don't need all 3, please think about giving us a chance to buy a package,
Yeah.
one of the 3 or 2 of the 3. And if we want all 3, then that's fine.
Absolutely. And I think many folks probably don't think about how much more it may cost when there is a disability in the family. Most of us think about maybe, oh, we'll spend $500 a year on dental. You're spending $12,000. Most folks who hadn't heard your story would think, why can't they afford $500 a year on dental? We would never have had any idea that it costs so much more for your family to deal with dental. That's
Yeah,
really
well,
powerful.
that's why I'm saying, that's why I think if you offer us, like if we can go use dental,
Mhm.
then we can, or go off and have a copay. I don't mind that even.
Sure.
But, I'm paying every month just to make sure she gets that dental cleaning every year.
Wow. And it's so important. So important.
Well, she has all her original teeth still, and she's
That's
48
amazing.
years old.
That's amazing.
So,
Thank you, Carol.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me share. I'll be sharing every question.
Please do. Please do. Anyone else who has been a caregiver or is a caregiver, what are you struggling with on your care journey right now? Love to hear from you. Facebook audience or Zoom, either way. You can type your answers in or just raise your hand and we'll call on you. Brandon, please do unmute yourself. We'd love to hear from you.
Hey there. So yeah, I take care of my mom. She has Parkinson's and fibromyalgia. I've been doing it for about 5 years. My hair's a mess. But I mean, a big thing I'm navigating right now is problems with my brother. And so I have one friend of my mom's who's been a caregiver, and she's kind of helping me navigate how to, because I've been trying to get him to help for years. And I'm at the point of accepting that he's just not going to get it. He gets very combative. So just kind of like looking at all the, because for me, a problem is, yeah, like I need to be able to free up some more of my mental space to do work and stuff like that. That's a concrete problem I'm trying to figure out a solution for. And in the past, I'd always figured that my brother can be helping with meal planning and things like that. So yeah, I guess the dual problem I'm having is how to manage the emotions that he's not going to help me. Because he does a lot of this, he excuses himself from helping with the care, and then he minimizes what I do and acts like I'm not doing very much. I'm like, well, what do you do all day anyway, So it's that thing where like, and he's made it hard for mom to talk to him because he's very combative, and so he'll be asking, well, like, what have you done? What did he, so it adds to her depression. It's all very murky. So I'm trying to figure out how to emerge from that without it elevating my blood pressure all the time. And how to delegate and figure out alternate ways to get some help so that I can free up some more of my time to focus on the work and the things I need to be doing, I guess. Is that clear enough?
Very clear. Very clear. Wow. That's a really, really powerful thing. I know it's mostly a listening session, but I also know we've got a lot of folks on here who've been through similar things. Does anybody have anything to share with Brandon on maybe what's helped them out through a similar situation? Anyone have any words of wisdom for Brandon, working through family challenges? Christina, please.
Well, I'm just going to share. There are some wonderful support groups in different areas. I know that Hope Dementia Support Group doing services, and there are other offshoots of support groups. But I think for us sometimes as caregivers, and I'm wearing my caregiver hat right now, and for us, it's so wonderful we have those support groups, but sometimes that support's needed, at like 2 o'clock in the morning, sometimes it's needed on a Saturday or a Sunday, and it is very difficult for us to manage the emotions that come along with it. It is very difficult to communicate with family members on what our needs are. It's very difficult even for us sometimes to say what our needs are emotionally out loud, to even feel that pain. And I just, my hope is one day if they were to take, groups like, Hope Support Group, Dementia Support Group, and really use that model for folks with, more services for Parkinson's patients, caregivers, for stroke patient caregivers, for something. Although Hope Dementia Support Group is very, very welcoming. Like as a caregiver for a stroke survivor, I've actually gone to some meetings before, but it would be really nice if there was groups that were more often than just, a couple times a week. Or even, I know that the Alzheimer's Association has a hotline that you can call 24/7. It would be really nice, even just sometimes to say it, to get it off our chest, because not only do we feel these emotions, but we don't know how to convey them, or sometimes we just need to say it to somebody other than it weighing us down inside. It would be very helpful if there was a place we could call. And that's just me being a caregiver. But, other than that, and all of these things will be taken away. And hopefully the leaders in the communities and the businesses and organizations in the communities will hear what the caregivers are saying and really try to, in the next, 6 months to a year, do whatever they can to try to help implement some of those things along the way. So that's my hope. But I think what Brandon's going through is what a lot of caregivers go through, including myself, really having a hard time dealing with the emotional stuff that goes on with it and communication. So there's NAMI also too. There's NAMI that's nationwide who helps with mental health services, but it's different in different areas. So.
Carol, please.
I just wanted to let you know that I belong to a support group, and they have a mom's group and a dad's group and a man's group and a woman's group. And it's a Christian-based group, and we meet once a week. Well, we can't with the virus, but anyway, if you want more information about that, go on amazingmoms.com. And what we do is we just get together and just be able to sit and talk about stuff, and it stays right there. And we have resources that we can help you get. And maybe what you can do is go on there and get on the email list. And then she'll send you an email. She sends us an email every week on what's going on in the community, or if you need something special, you can call her and she'll tell you what's available. And we're connected with a lot of the different organizations in the community.
Wow. Thank you so much, Carol. Brandon, were you going to say something? I saw you say something for a second.
Oh yeah, no, this is helpful. And it's funny because, after what Christina said, I was remembering that I know that the Parkinson's Foundation has a helpline. I've never used it or thought to use it because you always feel like it's for like an emergency, and I'm not in an emergency. But no, I think it's for this exact stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's that you just don't put yourself in the category of this being a thing that could help me. So I'm going to check into the Parkinson's hotline, and I'm going to look into this Amazing Moms. So this is helpful.
Awesome. I know we've got some great family mediators in town too, who specifically work with families dealing with elder care issues. Joey, do you help me remember here? It's Laura, right?
Laura Hall with Hall Mediation.
Laura Hall. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you. I knew Shannon would come through. She knows everybody in town. Yes, Laura Hall with, what did you call it? What's the name of her organization?
Hall Mediation.
Hall Mediation. She's had a lot of experience, Brandon, with your type of situation where there's family conflict about an elder and how do we work together with this elder. And so she's done a lot of work with families through difficult conversations. Maybe Joey, you can put that in there if you get a second. Hall Mediation. Okay, let's see. Who else has anything to share about kind of what they're struggling with right now on their care journey? Anyone else? Joe, we've got anybody on Facebook? Anybody on Facebook chatting in?
Not at the moment.
Okay. Great. Well, we can move back to some of these questions. Let's go number 3. How could you feel better supported by your community? How could you feel better supported by your community? Christina, thank you for writing these. Can you maybe give some context for this third question? Kind of what was in your mind as you wrote it?
Well, for me, whenever, even when I'm in Love Them Forward, I'm in caregiver mode. And for me, we have in Clark County, like I said, we have so many wonderful resources, but there are some gaps, and sometimes we don't necessarily know. For instance, when caregivers call the Loving Them Forward hotline, what happens is they always call for, you know, a couple of things. You know, they call for either support or in-home placement or care. They don't realize that there's other programs out there like, you know, Meals on Wheels. They don't realize even something as simple as in-home care. They don't realize that, you know, in-home care can actually, they can help with a lot of things. It takes a lot of stress off the caregivers. I had one lady who, I said, you know, there's a 3-hour minimum for most in-home care agencies. She said, oh, I'll just have them come for a half an hour. I'll pay and take care of my dad. I'll have them take care of my dad. And then I'll just pay for the 3 hours. I said, well, wait a minute, you know, let's talk about, you know, they can be doing things like taking out the trash or straightening or, you know, running errands or whatever, you know, you decide with that care team to put together. And people don't realize that those kind of things are out there. But I think that in different caregiving situations, even during the pandemic, some of us caregivers couldn't get out to go places, even something as simple as people who can get out and go places, who can go buy like, you know, hand sanitizer and wipes or run by, you know, Caring Closet and get diapers. I mean, things like that. Like there are things that we need that we are just, like I told somebody the other day, I said, taking the trash out at my mom's house for me is a way different experience than if a caregiver does it. And so I think that it's different for each caregiver. You know, how would you feel supported? And for me, even just something as simple as, you know, hearing that some of the leaders like the mayor's office and folks like that, and the businesses and individuals and organizations are there and they're willing to listen. Like even just the fact that the folks showed up today to hear us as caregivers is a big deal, because like Nicole said, a lot of times we are so invisible. I remember when we did the Caregivers Christmas, one of the comments we got from multiple people when we were going to give away 300 bags, Christmas gifts, they said there's 300 caregivers in Clark County. You know, and so I think that even just being that invisible and giving people a voice, that's just for me. But I'd like to hear it's all different. It could be something as simple as, you know, giving, when it's not COVID, giving somebody a hug or asking, you know what, for me is a really big deal as a caregiver. I love my mom to death. But when somebody asks me, Christina, how are you? Because the question is always, how's your mom? And rarely does anybody say, how are you? Just even something as simple as that is, you know, healing for me, or, you know, giving me a cup of coffee or whatever. It's different for each caregiver. So I'd like to hear from the caregivers, what would make you feel supported or appreciated or not so alone in this journey? Because as we know, as caregivers, we feel very alone and very isolated, and we feel like we're on this journey and nobody really understands us. So this is your time to say, like, what could we do, or people in your community do, or even like friends and family do for you that would make you feel supported and appreciated and valued? That's what I'd like y'all to share, if you would.
I'm going to call on Carol because I know Carol's got an answer. She's got something to say. Carol, what do you think about that? How would you feel more supported in our community? What would help you feel more supported?
Am I unmuted?
You are unmuted, yes.
Okay. I don't know. I'm pretty fortunate that I have a very good caregiver, and I have a very good 5 best special friends that call me every day, or I call them. And then I have a very supportive son and daughter that call me, that don't live with me anymore because they're on their own. So the biggest thing I think is just talking among ourselves and having special people you can call if you need a minute just to unwind, or just like Christina says, call and say, how are you? Not how is who you're caring for, but how are you? You know, and I've been real fortunate that way. And I tend to get on a lot of meetings and stuff because I like to be informed. And I also feed back to a lot of different people. Like the Amazing Moms group I told you about is 150 moms and grandmas and dads and grandpas and stuff. So I feed back to them for everything. And then like I said, I have a lot of different connections, as Christina can tell you, she found out when I first met her. But I'm just one of those people that I communicate a lot with people because I am in the house 90% of the time with Renee. And it gives me, like, if she's taking a nap or she's having a quiet time, that I can just unwind by calling a friend and just talking about something totally different than Renee. You know, and being a single mom, because we lost Dad 4.5 years ago to cancer, but I have a wonderful caregiver, and her biggest thing is that she worries every month about getting that 80 hours, you know, because sometimes Renee will be sick and I'll say, don't come, or Renee had a bad night, don't come, because Renee's going to sleep through it all, you know. And I worry about her more than I worry about myself. Maybe that's bad, but I do have, like I said, 5 key friends I talk to every day. Either they call me or I call them. And none of them are caregivers, but they've been my friends for a long time.
Yeah.
My best friend is 45 years of friendship.
Wow.
It's driving me nuts that I can't go see her because of this mess.
Yeah.
But this mess is going to be around for a while, and she knows the minute it opens up, we're there. So, but that's what helps me through it all, is having people I can call and just talk. And sometimes I'll bug Christina and call her and let her know that I'm thinking about her, and I hope she knows that. And we all need that. We need someone that we can vent to, at least one person, if not more, that you can just call and let it loose.
That's good. Thank you, Carol. Thank you. Hey, Ralph, what would help you feel more supported by your community? What would help you feel more supported by your community, Ralph?
Well, probably one main thing is for mental health for the gentleman I'm taking care of, you know. I don't know, but the bad part about him, he doesn't allow no one in the house. I mean, or even talk to him, you know. I'm like, all his family are like praise me all the time, but you know, I can't do it all on my own. We had health issues that came up with the city of Vancouver and code enforcement, and it's just a lot of stuff that's on my plate. You know, I have to get done and make sure he's okay.
Right. Yeah. Brandon, how about you? What would help you feel more supported by the community you live in as you're on this journey? You're muted at the moment.
I'm gonna have to think on that more, honestly.
That's good. Oh, good.
I put a lot of thought into that one.
Yeah. Anyone else on the call who's been a caregiver who can testify what would help them feel more supported by the community?
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. I would think that if we had badges that said that we are caregivers, I'd like to have one, because sometimes it's really hard to prove you're a caregiver, and that might help a lot.
Something that identifies you.
Huh?
Something that identifies you as a caregiver.
Yes.
Well, and Carol actually mentioned way earlier on in the conversation, she had mentioned, what about a lapel pin big enough to be seen, maybe a special logo for it too.
Or just a card that's laminated.
Sure.
One that can't be copied. You don't want it copied.
Right.
Copied.
Yeah.
Well then, Carol, I second that emotion.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Benjamin. This is Julie Williams.
Julie?
I just wanted to let folks know about an initiative that's kind of getting started. You're involved in it too, but the Dementia Friendly Community. And it's designed to help caregivers navigate the community because they'll be more educated on dementia. So you won't be as afraid to take a family member out for dinner or to the grocery store if they've got dementia. If we can educate the community on what dementia is, what dementia look like, what it looks like, and educate folks on those areas so make it easier for caregivers in general. So look for that, dementia-friendly communities.
Did you know that you can go into any Regal theater as a caregiver and take your client or your child or whoever you're caregiving for, and you pay for them and you go for free?
And that's where a badge would come in nicely.
Well, that's what he asked me. He asked me if I had anything to prove I was her caregiver. And I said, I'm her mom. Do you want my ID? And her ID. And he said, well, no problem. I'm going to let you go. But he said, I wish there was a way that we could do it. And maybe we could get more community businesses to do that. Like if we go to lunch or something and want to take our person that we're taking care of to lunch, maybe McDonald's could give like 10% off the bill or something because we are caregivers. And it might snowball into something like that if we get enough people behind us. And I'm willing to start the ball rolling,
Or even when we take our client to the ER or something, we just flip our badge. Hey, I'm a caregiver. I just walk in like I own the place.
But we do need something that's different, something that explains what kind of caregiver we are, so that people respect us rather than us just having to say it. We can say, like when I take Renee to the labs, I go a half an hour before the lab opens because I made those arrangements. But, and they know that I'm Renee's mom because I've been going to that clinic for 8 years now. So, but the point is not everybody has that luxury of being able to go. And with this virus, we want somebody to be able to recognize something right away, like Becky said, something that stands out, but not totally stands out, but stands out enough that it'll alert different organizations or companies or clinics or whatever that we have a special purpose in this life.
Yeah, like those people that wear like a bus pass and it's like plastic, wear it around their neck. Wouldn't be so bad sometimes. Because I have multiple clients.
Well, I talked to Victoria and she's willing to sit and type in all the information if we can get a company behind us. I already talked to Costco. They're going to call me back and see if we can get someone to back us on this.
What about our certification? It says on there, certified caregiver.
or something, just a code that everybody will know, and that they can't duplicate because it's a special thing that no one can like make a copy and make their own badges nowadays.
I think that's a great idea, Carol and Becky, for sure. I think that I'm hoping that, not only the Loving Them Forward board, but the other folks in the community can hear what you're saying and hopefully run with that idea or get with community leaders who can run with that idea. I can see
that's why I've been calling different communities, people and seeing who I can get that'll help sponsor it, or at least maybe let us use the camera and do the pictures, because I think a picture needs to be on there as well, because anybody can hand a card and say, hey, I'm George Smith,
But they wouldn't have the ID to back that up.
Yeah, well, the thing of it is that a lot of times you got your hands full. And if you can have something that's just very visual, maybe we can get somebody in this community to have an idea and run with it, and I'll be there to help you. I promise.
What about an ID with our pictures on it?
Well, we already said that, but I'm thinking something like you said, a pen or something.
Well, lots of great ideas here. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Christina, I think there's a couple things we need to do before we wrap up, right? We're about at the end of our time. Did you want to go ahead and hear the message that came to us from one of our state Congress persons. Is that a good time for that, Christina? Or is there anything else you wanted to cover?
I do want to cover one thing before we go on to that.
Sure.
Is I know that working the Looking Forward hotline and myself and the other caregivers, I know that financial is always a problem. There's always financial problems. Needing respite care, not being able to afford it, needing supplies, not being able to afford it. I'm working with some national folks like Caring Across Generations and other folks to help bring awareness to the issues of the financial needs of caregivers. And I believe Joey is going to put a survey link in the chat where you can go in as a caregiver, either a previous caregiver or current caregiver, and fill out the anonymous survey. And we're using that data to bring to folks on a national level to bring awareness to the caregiver crisis. And there's a lot of bailout money being talked about right now. I think that people have heard about Biden's care package, and we're looking at ways to bring awareness to what caregivers needs, and hopefully some of those funds can be used towards that, and there can be some changes towards that. So please, if you're a caregiver, take a minute to take that survey. It's going to help you in the long run. And if you know caregivers, share that survey with them as well. And I think now is a great time to bring on the message from the Congresswoman.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Hi there, this is Congresswoman Jamie Herrera Butler. Thank you for allowing me to speak with you all today virtually. First off, I want to say thank you for the selfless work you do as caregivers. Whether you're supporting family members or neighbors or friends or even complete strangers, the value you're bringing to their lives is immeasurable. Look, I know this past year has been incredibly difficult. Your role can be thankless at times, and the pandemic has been particularly isolating. You've taken on tasks and responsibilities you could not have imagined, and you've probably felt the weight of the world on your shoulders to care for those depending on you, and you have your own personal challenges to manage at the same time. Please know that we see, respect, and applaud you. This season may be a difficult one, but we can get through it. And I hope you're able to take a moment and reflect on what a blessing you are in someone else's life. Please know I'm your advocate in Congress. If you need assistance with a federal agency or a piece of legislation or community resource, that's what I'm here for. And please know you're in my prayers too. To get in touch with me, give my Vancouver office a call at 360-695-6292 or go to jhb.house.gov for more information. Thank you again for your hard work. We appreciate it so much. Take care.
Okay. Linda, I think Linda's not here. So Debbie, do you want to take this slide? We need to unmute yourself. Hold on, where's Debbie? Debbie, you there?
I'm here.
Okay, let me put that back up.
So yeah, we wanted to say, oh, did you want to say something, Benjamin?
Nope.
Okay. Wanted to take a minute to just thank our members and our sponsors of Loving Them Forward over the past 2+ years that we've been doing this. The screen is, okay. So we have 2 Minute a Truck, like I mentioned earlier. That's Laura Gazarian. She's a co-founder. Home Instead Senior Care. Senior Living Locator. That's Sarah and Jody, the founders there. Elfin Services, Joey. Friends of Hospice. You know, this is a nonprofit group who's also, you know, supporting another nonprofit as well as Hope. Kangen Water Store, Tom Lipinski, Oasis. There's Alice there in Oasis, and Bill at Caring Support, Alzheimer's Support. That's a great resource. He has a lot of classes there that can help you out. Area Aging on Disabilities, Kelch Communities, of course, Benjamin, and all their facilities here in Vancouver area. Law offices of Heather Norton, CDM, Eric's in there. They take Medicaid, so that's a great resource. Mortgage Express, Lori, they've been instrumental in helping community members, through the years. Can't see this one. What is that? Oh, Villages. Yeah, Villages. That's another great resource. They have daycare. I don't know what they're doing through COVID. And then, of course, Senior Heroes Award, which I spoke about earlier, Adult Care Pro. They relocate seniors into facilities if they can't stay at home anymore. Molina Healthcare, they kind of cover some more lower income facility or folks. Community Home Health and Hospice. Jody is also a part of that group. She kind of took over Linda's position. Not kind of, she did. Meals on Wheels, A Caring Closet, Human Services Council, and right now I just found out last week that they are providing free transportation to seniors in the community who need rides to vaccination sites. Bridges and CLT. And then, Monroe and Kent, they are a sponsor. They donated $5,000 to us. We're going to be doing the Take a Seat campaign pretty soon. So all of those people, what's this one? I can't see it in the black. Christina?
Productions, Triple M Productions with Martin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he helps businesses with video production. He also does a lot of stuff for ourselves, Loving Them Forward, and nonprofits to get the word out in Clark County about their business organizations.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that help. So those are our current sponsors right now. And thank you so much, Benjamin. Take it away.
Christina?
We're going to let Miss Debbie Russell go over this one. Debbie, are you there?
Yes, I am. Good afternoon, everybody, and happy St. Patrick's Day. So we are 100% volunteer-based. Any and all donations go to help the caregivers and seniors in Clark County find local resources, get support and free educational events, as well as marketing your services. There is no requirement to donate. We are just grateful for all your support in all forms. Any size donation would be greatly appreciated. Cash or checks made out to Loving Them Forward, or donate via credit card at www.lovingthemforward.org.
Christina.
Okay. All right. So first of all, I want to thank everybody so much, especially the caregivers. We are so incredibly grateful for you, and your voice is so very valued, and we appreciate you. We hear you, we see you. Please, I invite you to keep speaking up as caregivers and use your voice to advocate for yourself and, share with people about your journey and how they can help. Loving Them Forward is on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Please follow us because we have meetings like this. We also partner with a bunch of different organizations in the community and share their resources and their classes and seminars for caregivers as well. We want to thank you for everything today, all the contributors. And once again, make sure that you go do that survey for the financial information at surveymonkey.com/r/caremoney. And from myself and everybody from Loving Them Forward and all the members in the community of Loving Them Forward, we thank you and we appreciate you.
Thank you, Christina, for leading the way and bringing this together. It was a very important and enlightening opportunity. Please feel free to share this event. It's on Facebook at the Loving Them Forward page. And so if you have someone else who you think has things to say, you might want to share this with them to inspire them to also speak up. And they can keep commenting right on this particular video. And with that, we'll end for today. And Christina, do you mind just previewing what's next month is all about?
Yes, next month is all about veterans resources and veteran services. If you are a caregiver for a veteran or you have a veteran in your family, there are lots of resources that people don't know about because they get lost in the VA system. We have a veterans liaison specialist, Michael Harding, on the Loving Them Forward board, and he is bringing together all things veterans to help out the veterans and the caregivers. You won't want to miss it. Also, we have that's our next meeting, which is the third Wednesday of next month. Also, we do have coming up in the next month, we will be having Take a Seat, where we're going to be having caregivers share their story live, and we'll be auctioning off chairs donated from Monroe and Kent, beautiful chairs. And you get to hear caregiver stories, everything from people who are living with the people they care for, people who are caring for people remotely, people who've been a caregiver and how they're walking through not being a caregiver anymore because the person has passed. So there'll be all kinds of stories. We are grateful for you guys. Thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you next month. Make sure to follow us on our Facebook page, LinkedIn, and Instagram for everything that's coming up and all things caregiving.
Awesome. Thank you, Christina. And thank you all for joining us today. Have a great week.
Bye.